Hello and welcome. In this video, we will look at COMEX inventories, also called stocks, and explain inventory withdrawals and adjustments. We will also clear up some common misconceptions about COMEX inventories. COMEX inventory levels are updated every trading day. The current inventory levels can be found on the CME website by doing a simple search for COMEX stocks. There is an individual report for each metal. Looking at the report is presented in Excel format. In the left column are the list of COMEX approved depositories. The next column shows the previous day's inventory levels, the quantity of metal received into inventory that day, the quantity of metal withdrawn from inventory that day, the net change in inventory levels, inventory adjustments, and finally the total inventory levels for the day. Each depository lists the quantity of metal in each of the two COMEX inventories. Let's go over again the definition of eligible and registered inventories. What is COMEX eligible metal? Eligible metal is metal that is delivered into a COMEX approved warehouse that meets the requirements to be eligible for delivery against a COMEX futures contract. To be accepted into the warehouse as eligible, the metal is first assayed at the metal owner's expense to confirm the metal meets the standards and specifications, including weight and purity, required to be considered eligible for settlement. The metal is then transferred into a COMEX approved warehouse, again at the metal owner's expense, using a COMEX approved carrier such as Brinks. Once the metal is accepted into the warehouse, it becomes part of total eligible COMEX stocks, meaning that total metal stocks or inventories increase. Registered metal is eligible metal that has been placed on the exchange for settlement of a futures contract. Not all eligible metal will become registered metal. In other words, not all metal stored in the COMEX warehouses as eligible metal will be used to settle futures contracts. Some will simply be stored in the warehouse vaults by the metal owners for himself, or to be used to meet demand somewhere else. Therefore, total eligible metal inventories can increase and decrease without it having any effect on total registered inventories. One can think of eligible inventory as inventory that is not for sale at this time, and registered inventory as inventory that is for sale at this time. There is a common misconception that eligible inventory is customer inventory and registered inventory is dealer inventory. However, there's absolutely no such thing as customer or dealer inventories in the COMEX. Eligible inventory is not somehow customer inventory, and registered inventory is not somehow dealer inventory. This is an incorrect explanation of what those inventories represent. When metal is placed on the exchange for settlement, a warrant is created. A warrant is basically a receipt for the metal. One could also think of a warrant as the title or claim check for the metal. In most cases, the warrant is stored with the owner's broker. When the metal is placed on the exchange for settlement and the warrant is issued, the metal goes from eligible to registered. This means total eligible metal stocks will show a decline, and total registered metal stocks will show an increase. The total inventory spreadsheet will show an adjustment from eligible to registered. Again, there are some common misconceptions in this area that need to be addressed. An adjustment does not mean that metal is moving into or out of the dealer or dealer's account, because there is no such thing as a dealer or dealer's account. An adjustment does not affect dealer's inventory or customer's inventory, because there is no such thing as a dealer's or a customer's inventory at the COMEX. When a trader takes delivery, it means he is taking physical delivery of the warrant. It does not necessarily mean they are taking physical delivery of the metal. The warrant is transferred from the seller's broker to the buyer's broker. The buyer may then do one of three things. The buyer may keep the metal as registered metal for delivery the next month. In other words, he basically resells the metal he just bought. In this situation, there would be no change in total eligible or registered inventories. He may move the metal from registered to eligible. In other words, he may store the metal in the COMEX warehouse for himself or to sell at a later time. In this situation, the metal is moved from registered to eligible, so there is a decline in total registered inventories and an increase in total eligible inventories. The total inventory spreadsheet will show an adjustment from registered to eligible. The third choice is that the trader may choose to physically have the metal delivered to him. In this situation, the metal is delivered to the buyer with the buyer bearing the cost of transportation. In this situation, there would be a decline in total registered metal inventories, but total eligible inventories would remain at the same level. It is important to note that once metal has been removed from the COMEX system and physically delivered, if the new owner wants to sell it later on, the metal must be recertified at the owner's expense and delivered into the COMEX again as eligible metal, using the procedure described above. So that is COMEX stocks, deposits, withdrawals, and adjustments explained. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.